seeking ye shall find. Only through him can we know the most wondrous bestowals. I'm also the Archbishop of the African Orthodox Church jurisdiction of the West and the St. John Will.I.am Coltrane Church. I began with acknowledging God because this is, for me, I think it's been well said what the remedy to the solution is, the history of what this institution represents in this community. However, as an ACE member and a chair for the NAACP of the foreclosure fight, I am very clear on the fact that this African American community has been preyed upon by what we call banksters. They seem to be too big to fail, but I don't think they're too big to go to jail. If I spit on the sidewalk, I got a problem. But you can spit on a whole community and no one rise up and say that a law has been broken. It seems to me that we need to educate ourselves about what's happening not just here but across the nation to the black, brown, and poor communities by these banksters. Many of us, we grow up with the hope of having a mortgage and to have a home and an institution. Someone told me that mortgage was a French term, legal term for death contract. And we all want a mortgage, but we don't know necessarily that we want a death contract. And these banksters have led us into a grave situation, even into the graveyard, to bury all of our hopes and our dreams, our retirement, our inheritance for our children, and something's got to be done about it. I don't see the anger in the African American community about what's taking place and how we're being perpetrated on. The banks have already been held accountable up to $7.1 million for offering loans that were subprime when we qualified for prime loans. So there's a crime taking place, and we need to come out and acknowledge that. It's not just a plea for justice for us, but we want justice for everybody. If we break the law, we go to jail. If the banksters break the law, they need to go to jail, and they need to be held accountable. Now, I was thinking as I was coming to this place, and I was thinking about Mr. Richardson. I'm celebrating 45 years of community here. But that 45 years could not have begun if I wasn't able to come in here and talk to Mr. Richardson and let him lecture me about my history as a people and introduce me to the knowledge of those that stood fearlessly and fought for what was right and good. There's a time in our history, and we're there right now, that if we do nothing, we will be nothing. And it seems to me, beloved, if we had really thought about this building, see, I'm aware of the fact that John Coltrane played in this building. When we talk about the ancestors, it's not just those that are represented in the books. Duke Ellington played in this building. And when we think about the spirit of those revolutionary folks that revolutionized music and made it relevant to the struggle that we have, this building is more than just a learning institution. This is where we can come and commune with those spirits that talked about music as an instrument that can change the thinking of the people. Now, I also want to say this. It's important that some people are saying, well, why are we doing this fight? It's over with. Well, I'm an old Jack Johnson kind of fighter. I know some of y'all remember when it was 15 rounds. But I like that idea about round 50, round 75, because we're going to fight, finish, and win. And let me say to the people that bought this building, I understand, I read somewhere that they were of the Orthodox faith. That means they're not up under the Pope, so we can't blame the Romans. But if they are, in fact, of the Orthodox faith, and I'm of the African Orthodox faith by Favored Ignatius Peter of Antioch, Syria, I would say to them to remember the scriptures that said it's more blessed to give than to receive. And let me say, it's less blessed to steal than to give back that which is not yours. This is not yours. You've been used by the banksters to come into a community and devastate us in the way. If we don't have this institution to come to, where do we go? This is where the young folks develop the spirit and the knowledge for leadership. And if we can't develop leadership, I hear Dr. Brown say he buys books here. But it's more than just a book buying place. This is a place where you can come in and sit down, feel the spirit of revolution and change. You can be encouraged to do that which is right and good. So we don't want to lose this place, and we don't want to lose this fight. And we're not just speaking for intellectuals, we're speaking for the thugs too. Thugs need this place. Intellectuals, somebody know about a thug? They need this place, or else they'll be thugs for the rest of their lives. So we just say to the family that bought this place that we love the idea that we have an opportunity to speak to the compassion of your heart, and we ask that you be moved by and guided by the Holy Spirit to do that which is pleasing to God. And that is not to use this as a money-making opportunity, but an opportunity to be invested in this community as part of the whole city of San Francisco, rather than just some investors that come in here raising sand. That's all I got to say.
Archbishop King. Also want to bring up our next speaker, Ed Donaldson, who's speaking with the Home Defenders League of San Francisco.
I stand in solidarity with my fellow speakers and with the community in asking the Swice family to please sell the building back to us as a community so that we can preserve it as a cultural institution. And when folks begin to attack our cultural institutions, they attacked our very existence here in San Francisco, and we cannot tolerate it. We have to stand up and fight. We will fight. And I also want to say that in framing this issue in the larger context of San Francisco, there have been over 4,000 homes that have been foreclosed in San Francisco in the last 5 years, many of which are in communities of color. And at present, there's 1,500 homes between Bank of America and Wells Fargo that are currently in default. Approximately 1,125 of those homes will go to foreclosure or a short sale. We have placed a proposal in front of Wells Fargo and Bank of America and all the other banks, and we have said to them that we have the resources. We're resourceful enough as a community to step forward, as we have in this situation, to put forward an offer not only for this building but for these homes so that we can stabilize our community. To date, there's been no answer. The city of San Francisco at present, on the heels of the passage of Proposition C, which was the Housing Trust Fund, is now having a conversation around the allocation of $15 million that was set aside for community stabilization, and the community, the African American community, has not been at the table. And the audacity of the Mayor's Office of Housing to put forward a budget where in that budget there is no funds for single-family homes to be saved and rescued. I think that's a disgrace. And I call upon the Mayor's Office of Housing and the City of San Francisco to correct that and to do something about it, to make sure that we have the assistance of the city along with the resources that we've been able to galvanize to stabilize our communities. Thank you.